California education seemed to be at a crossroads, but as a substitute teacher, I have some views which I think could make a big difference. My experience has showed that I think education across the country is on the wrong track. First of all, I think that we need to take back these students from elementary right up to high school back to the basics. Need to be able to count, write, and read. That's so important. And all the multimedia they're using, I don't think it's productive. Sesame Street and all of these educational shows are not necessarily improving the abilities of the students, because it has been shown that students who maybe sit all the time and watch all the Sesame Street shows and all these various shows they have before they go to school, yes, they're ahead for the first little bit, but the other students normally catch up with them. And I think that they are normally surpassed because they had been sort of educated in an environment that is not practical. You know, the singing, the jumping around, the playing around, the foolishness, and they learned, yes, to count and to say the tables, but that's not real life situation. I recall I was doing a stint at a certain school in Los Angeles County, and the teacher had left a page of numbers to crunch, and so I handed it out and I said, okay, who's finished first? Let us raise our hand. Okay, so I took one of the pages and I started going from left to right, back to left to right to back to left. I just keep going like that. The other students, before the start of the exam, they had some flashcards. I don't know if you know what the flashcards were about, and they were looking for patterns and they were going all over the page looking for stuff. So with a minute I finished, and then another guy finished after me. He was of Hong Kong descent, so we're from the British system, so that's the difference. I think that these young people need to memorize the times tables, age appropriate. Maybe in first grade maybe they need to know up to 4 times, and by the time they reach 12th grade they should know up to 25 times tables. And this would help them to be not afraid of math because they have the ability. They're not afraid of numbers, and all these sciences that based on numbers and math, like engineering, medicine, and other things, they will be able to ascend those professions, because those professions right now are in the graduate schools. Majority of the students are foreigners. And writing, they need to go back to the cursive writing, and the reading, I don't know, was a philosophy, but they seem to be reinventing or bringing back old philosophies, the way they used to learn in Phoenicia and in Greece and all that. And if you go back to those civilizations to learn how they did things, yes, there are some things that don't change, but if you go back, you'll end up being just like them, like hieroglyphics and picturing things and all this stupidness they're doing. And then I find that we give these young children too much of a burden. We're trying to make them as intellectual as they can be. They have opinions and they're able to create new ideas, and they want to be able to analyze stuff and so on. Those are high levels of cognitive activity, and those students will not be able to achieve those levels. Even professors don't even have that achievement. College students don't. So we expect an elementary student, except you're going to frustrate them and you'll make them feel as like they're so confident in their little opinions. What they need to be doing in primary school and high school is just gaining knowledge and understanding, and maybe some application. But when you go into synthesis and evaluation and all that stuff, you're trying to frustrate these kids. And many of them do not have the ability to go on to college and to university. They need to understand that and find the level and just go and pick the corn or plant cabbage or whatever. And those who have the ability should move on. But capitalism now, where these colleges need the doors filled, the rooms filled, the classes filled, they're taking in everybody and bringing everybody down to their level, because the lowest level one who can get into university or college, he's going to obstruct the whole thing. In fact, he obstruct the whole school system, because you have to stay back with him. He's so slow, and you know, all this stuff you got to go through with him. Also, they need to respect themselves and others. This cursing they're going on with, it doesn't lend to anything. It's disrespectful, it's unethical. You feel inferior cursing, plus it robs them of a rich vocab. They need to dress properly. Some of these girls dressing with skimpy pants and tight clothes and all that. I mean, school is a place of respect, and if you don't respect yourself, then yeah, efforts and all that, it's a subtle problem. And finally, discipline. You see, you could persuade these kids, you could give them gifts, stars and everything else. If you don't have authority to tell them to come to school on time and do the homework and stay quiet, I mean, it's like it's a problem. I know in the third world, in my country, they will spank you, they will do what it needs to get you to cooperate. And there are students who fought back, but they're the ones that had mental problems and end up going and being criminals. You submit yourself to the discipline in school.